Good morning. So we're off to another wonderful start today here. We're cloning another hard drive for a client. So let me pull this over. So what we have is a Toshiba 1 terabyte mechanical hard drive. We are transferring it or cloning it to a SanDisk SSD 1 terabyte. So the SSD you see is showing up down here as unallocated, obviously because it is brand new and this is the old one. So you'll note something I didn't mention before. I wanted to mention this now, that the file structure on both of these are different. They need to be the same before you clone them. So we're going to do a right click and see if we can convert this to GPT. Yes, we can. Um, and we will apply. That usually only takes a couple of seconds for it to convert from one file structure to another on a brand new hard drive. In this case, it's a brand new SSD. Technology always makes a fibber out of you. Well, come on. It's also a good way of testing a brand new drive to make sure it's safe to use. Well, like I said, this would be one of those things that makes me out to be a liar today. Ah, I see the computer is doing some weird things, like not recording. Oh, there it goes. So yeah, something must have been going on there. But I know that Toshiba hard drive, the one that's in the H here, is starting to go bad. That's the reason for the clone. So if you saw lag in the video, that's because it was fighting against that. So anyways, we've got the two set for basic GPT, which is the file structure we need to use. While it was doing that conversion, I noticed that the computer had kind of like hung up, and that does happen when it's fighting against a bad known hard drive. So yeah, you probably, hopefully when I play this back, I can edit out any screeching or yelling that's in there while it was recording. But anyways, once you've done that, you go up to clone a disk. We're going to clone it quickly the first time. Sometimes that will work, sometimes it doesn't, just to give you fair notice. And we're going to clone the Toshiba 1 terabyte. We're going to send it to the SanDisk. Optimize it for an SSD because that's what it is. Of course, the software already knows it, but it never hurts to tell it anyways. Fit the sectors, edit. It looks like it's a perfect fit, so we'll be fine. Sometimes you'll get where new SSDs, because it's a different brand, sometimes they're off like a couple of megabytes for file structure, and you have to go in and modify the clone, the drive that you're cloning. You have to modify the partitions a little bit to make it fit onto it. It doesn't happen very often, but it does. But in this case, it looks like it's going to be a perfect fit. And of course, this programming has the adjustments to automatically make that. So, and now we apply. Now this is going to take a while, so I'm going to pause the video here, and hopefully as I'm catching it on the back side, you can see it. We're going to proceed. Yes, we're going to start. Like I said, this will take a while. It doesn't tell you how long. I wish it did, but when it's dealing with a mechanical drive that's failing, yeah, that it can take as quick as a few minutes. It can take hours. Um, so yeah, this is not a surprise here. So um, we'll just have to. I'm going to pause the video, let it clear up as much as possible, and when we come back, it'll be ready to go. So just popping in here real quick, I was reviewing the previous cut of this. There was like one spot after everything that there was a glitch. Don't know where that was, with there's a squeal. I'm just going to leave it in. It doesn't hurt anything. As you can see, we are now at stage 3, probably well, it says status, but it's now moving the data off of the mechanical hard drive to the SSD. Well, I should be saying copying, because if you move it, you lose it from the original. We're actually copying it now. And you see we got 85 gigabytes to go. We're about 1/8 of the way through it, so hopefully we'll be back in a little bit. So we're back for a moment just to watch. We are at 83 of 85. Of course, that's only about 70% of the way through. So, but as this progresses, hopefully it'll go through relatively quickly, and we'll be done with that part of it. And then it's time to remove the drive and put it in the new computer. And I always have to do some boot modifications to make it work the first time, and then it's done. So we'll see where this will take us here in a little bit. Might as well wait to see what it does when it gets to 85, because I think we're on stage 4 of 5. All right, updating the system, finishing through, moving the last of the hidden partitions and your boot partitions. Those are never big anyways, and final steps. Now, if you're doing this at home on your by yourself, obviously you need two computers to do this. But when you take that new SSD and you put it back into the old computer that you're using, in this case it's a laptop, do not be surprised that it fails to boot. You will need a Windows 10 boot flash drive, and you'll need to use your I have a file in here. It's called hard drive recovery, because I use it for multiple things. But in that is my list for how to recreate the boot manager, how to find the operating system. It's all scripts. It takes a long time. You've probably seen little clips of it before. It's like your system file checker, your boot manager, your check disk, and all this. You go through this restore health, or for DCIM restore health. You go through all those little steps, and what it does is it rebuilds the boot configuration file on the new SSD to match the new hard drive, because right now all we've done it and told it to clone everything. So basically when I plug it in the computer is going to say, hey, this is a SanDisk SSD, but you have files for a Toshiba hard drive. So you have to go in and lie to it and correct it and make it believe that it's a SanDisk. So like I said, this will finish updating. We'll get this moved over and get it installed, and we'll go from there. Just a little note there, if you've seen that on the screen, it says if this process of updating takes more than 3 minutes, you can forcibly terminate it in the file manager. So that's what I'll have to do. So we will go and forcibly terminate it. So we'll go to Task Manager, if it'll let me do that. There it is, and there's the program, and we can forcibly terminate it. And because it's hung up, it takes a moment. So there we go. So now we're going to remove this hard drive, go put it back in the laptop and see if it will boot. If not, we'll do the corrections to it, and if that fails, we'll do the cloning process. Now when you're putting your hard drive, the new hard drive, into the laptop, you never want to seal it up in case you have to rip the hard drive out again. You just want to put like the bottom cover on there so it's not touching the workstation. You see I have the power plugged in, and so on and so forth. So let's take a look and see if it will boot up. I do have the red light that says it's there. There's the screen powering up. And of course it needs repairs, which is very common when you're cloning a hard drive. So that's why you need the Windows 10 boot disk. So I'm going to boot it up to the Windows 10. As you see, I have a Windows 10 boot disk here. So we'll do that. So in rebooting it, we get to this option. I had to use the escape option to give me this menu. We're going to go into boot options, which is F9 on this computer. And it does not show me the option, so that means I'm going to have to go into the BIOS and make those changes. There's the BIOS. Let's see if we can find this. Boot options. USB diskette, that's what we want. Let's move that up to the top, which I believe is F5. And then we'll escape and save. Hopefully now that will cause it to boot off the USB Windows 10 flash drive so we can make the appropriate changes. Maybe, hopefully. There it goes. Screen's flipping. Still giving me an issue. That is, saying that it can't connect to the device, and that's what we're going to try and fix to get this hard drive to work. So we're back to the boot manager. It's saying USB hard drive, and it is detecting the flash drive. That's what's showing up. Now let's see if it will actually boot. That's where we want to go. Let it boot up. There's the HP logo. That's a good sign. It is booting off the flash drive. That's good. Yes, this is all the basic information. Just go forward according to where you're at. You're going to go into repair this computer. Now we're going to go into troubleshoot. We're going to go into advanced options, and we need the command prompt. All right. So from here, I'm going to take my flash drive. I can pull the Windows 10 out now and put the flash drive in. This is the one that has all of my basic commands I have always stored for repairing these. Let's pop those in. So some Windows programs will run in command mode. One of those programs is Notepad. And then we're going to open up a file called Unlock Hard Drive. So see, it is reading the hard drive, it just can't boot from it. So we need to go into removable drive, scroll all the way down, find my hard drive, unlock the hard drive, and open it. And these are all the different commands I have saved for doing this sort of work after a cloning, because almost, for me, I would say 95% of the time I always have to do this. Very few times do I ever get it to work on the first time. Now here's where it's going to be the fun part, is which steps actually work, because not every step will work on the same computer. So let's find out where the Windows drive is by looking at the directory list. Okay, wanted to make sure we're in the right one because we have to do this command. We'll copy this stuff and that. Copy. I'm going to go over here and paste it and let it do its thing. An error occurred with the temporary directory. Couldn't do the restore point. Scanning for OS. We'll go back and check that. An error has occurred while accessing the temporary directory. Pending repair. I did find the operating system. That's good. Did I not grab the make a directory? Might not have, so let's rerun this part again. And scroll down. There it goes. Make directory work that time. It's doing a reversing of pending actions, which means any updates that were on the hard drive pending beforehand, those will be reversed out. That operation is now complete. Now we could do the restore health. Always got to watch these things. They'll fly by sometimes. If you're not paying attention, you'll miss them. Let's copy that and paste that over here. Restore health is usually a good thing. Even if it fails the second time, it's a good thing. But if we get the lines going across, we know it's going to work. And there's the lines going across. So when I'm done with this, it should boot up successfully from the hard drive. Not always though, but 80% of the time it does. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Sorry if it's kind of a blurry off the cell phone. Not something I normally do. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Now we just wait and we'll see what it does. Alright, as you can see, the task is complete, so let's see if it's going to boot up. So we'll close the notepad, we'll close this, which will take me back to here. We'll continue to Windows 10. If it works, great. If not, we have to reboot from the flash drive. Nope, it failed. So I have to do more things. Alright, so you can see that we were back to where we were. So let's see what the BCD file says. BCD edit. It says it's an unknown device. That's where the problem is. And it is pointing in the right direction on the hard drive. It's just it doesn't know where it's at. So let's see if we can fix that. There's a couple of different ways to do that. So let's go look at the disk part and see if we can find the hidden folder. Or the hidden partition, I should say. So go here, go here. And the hidden partition is usually in the FAT32, 250 gigabytes. This is the flash drive. So I bet you it is here. So we're going to select volume 1. And then we're going to map that volume 1. We're going to give it drive letter T and exit. We'll see if it's hiding in there. Now we're going to go look at T. Since we've mapped it, we can now access it. There's the EIF. Good. So now we can use this. See if we can unlock it this way. C to T. Good. You always want to make sure those drive letters are correct. So I'm pulling it off the C drive because that's where it's at to go to the T drive, which is the one we're mapping. So copy and paste. Hate when I do that. Paste. And it did not work. Let's see why. Told it to unhook it. It did not find the boot manager. So it failed to copy the files. Okay. So let's go look at BCD edit again. It's still showing an unknown device. So was not that. So we might have to do this. This is kind of a destructive way to do it, but it does work. Copy that. We'll force it to completely rebuild the BDC file. Oh, that's right. You have to do it. It's going to ask you what's the name of the file, and this is kind of important, so let's go back and look at that. So let's go back into disk part. See what that volume name is. And we're going to list the volumes. T is called system. So kind of important to know that because it won't let you erase it without knowing the volume name. So now let's go up here and format T. Copy. And paste it. Now it's asking me what was the name. And that's where we get the system from. All information will be lost. It'll ask you to forcibly dismount. Yes. It's going to format it. It's going to ask you for the name. You have to put the same name back in, or you'll have to completely reclone it. And now let's do this boot BCD. And click. If this doesn't work, then the BCD file is actually not where it's supposed to be. It's actually on another partition. And then we'll have to go find it. Boot files were created successfully. Great. Let's go look at the C drive. Let's run back through these ones again. And this time we're going to use the rebuild BCD file. Copy. Oh, I forgot. The scan OS will do something stupid, so we'll have to do the rebuild BCD. Didn't find it, that's perfectly fine. Rebuild it, didn't find it, that's fine. Let's do these two commands. Shift, down, down. Copy. Let it do this. This is going to reverse any pending actions. Yes, so we've already done this, but it never hurts to do this again. Error found. Okay, that's fine. So let's see what it does now. It'll probably crash, but never hurts to do this. No, we don't want to save any changes to that file. We're going to close it. Continue. Let's see if it will boot. Spinnies are good. That's an even better sign. There we go. That's what we want to see. Hard drive has been successfully cloned. So that's how you do it. At this point, you let it boot up. You do a couple more little tests if you want to do them, and then you seal the whole thing back up. Ta-da! There we go. One thing I should mention is once you do get it back to this point, probably the first step you should always do is open up the command prompt as an administrator and run the DISM restore function. There's a video on this on how to do that. So yeah, it's always good to do that just to make sure if there's any other corruption that might be running in the background, you can get that taken care of. There we go. I'll put a trailer on this. So in conclusion, you can see that it takes about an hour and a half to do this. On the average, not always, because if a clone fails and going through all those steps, which that last step I did was the last step I would have to do to determine if a clone failed or not. So if the clone failed, then I would have to go through and reclone it again, kind of like what I did in the beginning of the video, except for I would do more extensive steps like sector by sector copying versus a quick copy. Sector by sector copy takes a lot longer. Usually that averages about 4 hours. But when you've got a hard drive that's dying, you have to be kind of careful with that because it will also copy the bad sectors over, and then you have to do additional steps. Once you get it booted back up successfully, you have to go through and tell the computer, check the hard drive for bad sectors. And what it does is it goes through and rechecks those bad sectors and say, oh, well, this one's not bad anymore, and mark it as being able to be used again. So in this particular case, about 1.5 hours, that's about norm. So the hard drive was $130. Yes, you could probably find them online cheaper. It is what it is. Service fee is $100. That's generally what we charge for any service in the store, unless it's 15 minutes or less. So the total due will be about $230. If you do not want to do this yourself, you know where I'm at. There's the phone number. There's the address. That's how you can get a hold of me. I keep forgetting this is in reverse, so that's how you get a hold of me. Of course, up there is the phone number and the address. In the mornings, please call. If you're dropping it off in the morning, please give me a call and schedule a time. Usually after 2 o'clock, there's always someone here. But yeah, that is a successful clone of a mechanical drive. In fact, let me pull it out here. There's the mechanical drive. And Task Manager popped up. That's just because I have it programmed to do that. But that's your mechanical drive that's going bad. We cloned it to an SSD, which you've seen in the listing. It took, like I said, the cloning and the service and everything that goes in there about an hour and a half. Again, it takes me an hour and a half simply because I've done so many of them through the years that I just know what to do. So far, it seems to work on Windows 11 computers too. I've only had to clone one so far. And the whole process works well with the Windows 11 operating system too. The only time you run into problems with the cloning of a hard drive is if BitLocker is turned on. Yeah, that can cause a problem. The new cloning software I'm using, which is the Anomi, will clone with BitLocker on it, where software I'm using in the past through like EU's Partition Master will not clone with the BitLocker turned on. So yeah, it's kind of nice to use the newer software that will counteract the security software. But yeah, there you go. You can see, took me an hour and a half. This is, why you pay a professional to do it, because if you're doing it, there's a possibility you can screw up the hard drive and lose all of your data. So if you're comfortable doing it, great. If you want to try and do it yourself, by all means. But, if you want someone to do it who has the experience to do it, obviously bring it to me. And that's generally the rate. Now, if you've got a smaller hard drive, obviously the SSD cost is less. If you have M.2 hard drives, which are these itty bitty little ones, we do have some of those in stock. If not, we would have to go to the store like Best Buy, Staples, whatever, and pick them up if they have them in stock. So yeah, they have been running their inventory short too, because, well, shipping delays and shortage of labor, and just, everything comes out of China. Let's remember that. So, but yeah, there you go. An hour and a half. This is why you pay a mechanic to fix your car, because usually they could do it faster and efficiently. And yes, it's going to be a little bit spendy, but they're good at what they do because they have the experience. This is an example of experience. If you did this yourself, not knowing how to do it, it's like me working on my car. I can change the oil in my car. Yeah, it would probably take me 3 hours to change the oil in the car, where I can take it to a mechanic and you can do it in 20 minutes, and then plus I get other services that I might not think of while I'm there. So, but yeah, there you go. If you need me to clone out your hard drive, if your mechanical drive is starting to fail, and the only way to really know is to run the Crystal Disk program I've talked about before, or even then, I'm seeing that Crystal Disk is missing on occasion. So you would see on Crystal Disk where it talks about end-to-end read errors, and it has a threshold of 100, but you're looking at your score, it says 97. Because it's below the threshold, it's not tripping the alert saying, hey, your hard drive has gone bad. But if you are that close, yeah, just clone out your hard drive. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. This video is a little bit extra long. It'll be posted up on YouTube and snippets on the other ones. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Pass this around, because even after being in this location in downtown Clyde for 5 years, I have people walk through my door and tell me, well, how long have you been here? I didn't know you're here. Da, 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 da. Really, we've been in Clyde at this location for 5 years. We got 2 big giant yellow signs out front. Clearly visible from downtown Main Street. And I still have people walk in at least once a week. Well, how long have you been here? We've been doing this, and we've been in this location for 5, been Clyde for 8, and been doing it for almost 16 years now. So anyways, like, share, subscribe, pass it on, let your people know. If you're in my service area and you don't have transportation, let me know. I can come to you. I cover 5 counties. I do on occasion have people actually ship me their laptops from out of state to do this. So just remember that. And if we're doing a whole shipping thing, you're paying for shipping both ways. Sorry, I got to have that covered. So, but yeah, reach out to us. We'll fix you up. You guys have a great day.